Hey guys, I'm excited to show y'all my latest project. So I've been having a bit of a hard time lately. Apparently, going back to quote normal didn't fix everything that was wrong with me. And so I wanted to work on a project that was rooted in fun. So I illustrated these portraits that all come from pictures that were on my phone. So I got to do the art thing, the, problem solving puzzle aspect of creating an image. But I'm also getting to spend time with people in my life who make me happy. I think art making can be a form of gratitude. Like each of these portraits probably took a couple of hours, and while I worked on them, I got to be in the moment or with the moments that these images were taken. And that just feels nice, and it just was a really pleasant experience to work on this. I'm really interested in the idea of creating art from phone snapshots. The ability to take a photo is so available to us that we don't value these digital images as much as maybe when we were developing film pictures. But we are still documenting our lives, and these moments are still special. So I like making these images, and they're now elevated from just a JPEG that was living in my iPhone library. I also like that they are clearly snapshots and selfies. Sometimes I feel like artists are working from photos as if to replicate painting from life, the camera isn't part of the equation. But I like the idea of using the image format that we are most familiar with, day to day to create art. Even the size of these images is very similar to a phone screen. And I'll be the first to admit that drawing a bunch of pictures of my friends and family is a rather self-indulgent project, but hey, it's my art and I'm gonna do whatever I want. But also, I just feel liberated by creating work that doesn't have to fulfill any purpose beyond that. I feel happy when I see these images, and the experience of creating them was so fulfilling to me. Not to mention, I learned a lot about colored pencil and portraiture by creating 19 portraits. My journey with creating in sketchbooks over the past year has been really meaningful to me because I've reclaimed art making for myself, and I'm wrapping up this project with this video to celebrate my efforts with this piece. I know you won't connect with this work in the same way I do. I mean, you don't know any of these people. But my hope is that this could inspire you to create images that resonate in your life that will bring a gratitude to your creative practice. Plus, I like looking at portraits, and if you're watching my channel, I bet you do too. So yeah, here's the flip through. So this first image is of myself. I have a lot of selfies. I think we all do. I hope it's not just me. But I will take pictures of myself in different lighting scenarios and at different angles and stuff to use as reference for maybe drawing or sketching or painting or something. So that's what this is. So there's just kind of a harder shadow going on there. And I originally thought about doing this sketchbook as just self-portraits, but I really I just wanted to have fun, and I would say this next picture is the one that I was like, well, wouldn't it be more fun to paint this beachy picture that my sister sent in the family group chat. There will be several mentions of the family group chat in this project. So yeah, on this one I definitely learned a lot about the considerations you need to make when working at such a small scale. I mean, that face is just so tiny and little tiny hands and stuff. So this is one that I definitely did a lot of learning. I still think that it's fun and you kind of get the gist of it, but there's some other full body portraits that I think turned out a little bit better than this one. I like that giant umbrella. It's really fun. So this one is of Jacob, my husband, and I always thought that the reference photo was really attractive of him, and I don't think I quite captured the cuteness. And I don't know, it's the bitch of portraiture, guys. You know, you're just a little off and it doesn't look quite right. But there is something about the expression, like, woman quit taking pictures of me, that I think is well realized in this. So I kind of like that. This picture is when we were walking back to our car from the Bernie rally back in February. And there's just a weird place in my brain or heart or something of that, like, February, early March 2020 kind of time. So I like that picture for this reason. Let's see. All right. So this one here is probably my favorite of the whole batch. The neon turned out really cool with the black and white on top of it. And it's really weird because the photo that I worked from is not necessarily like some great photo. I was halfway through a tattoo session. There's like a outline of a tattoo over here. And I went out to, take a break, and the sunlight's coming down, so it created all of these really intense lines on the face, and there's a lot of contrast in here. And so just all of this in here, I think, is a lot of visual information that makes for a really nice image to work with. So there's something kind of interesting I've found as I've worked through this project of what makes a good art piece and or like a little drawing, and what makes for, like a picture you might, save to your phone or post online. And maybe even this is an example of that too. This is a kind of a weird picture of my brother, and actually my sister is like off to one side. And it's one of those lighting situations where, when like the overhead lighting inside like casts that shadow that your brow kind of casts right there. So it's not a really like attractive picture in terms of like the shading on the face, like in the photo, but I really like it as a drawing. And the way that this was simplified, when I first did it, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's quite right. But the more kind of distance I have from when I made this, the more I really like how blocky and how simplified this is. I mean, this eye right here is just kind of a dark area. And so this is actually something I go back to and look at, and it's like, I need to figure out how to simplify my shapes like this. So there's something that really intrigues me from a technical level of this kind of piece. The color palette too is very limited as well. Also just a hat, that's always fun. So this one right here is from the trip that I took to Marfa like in May. And I'm pretty sure this picture went down where my friend was like, hey, I need a thought pic by the pool. It's like, okay, let's make this happen. And so there it is. And yeah, I like the half body. There's a lot of faces in here, and so this one being more figurative, I really like that. And I kind of wish I had more photos like this to work from. I like too the swimsuit, the kind of black and the navy on it with the kind of pinks of the skin. I like that. And I like how I simplified the pool in the background to just be basic shapes. So I think this image really stands out to me. Then there's this one. I also like taking selfies of myself kind of looking like shit. So this is me, I don't know, in a bathroom mirror one night. And yeah, I don't know. I just like it. It feels like what I look like, I guess. It's like we all kind of look different ways with like makeup and like how done up or not done up we are. So I kind of like this one for that reason. But yeah, I like the kind of shading on the face. It's the lighting and just all of this is interesting. The different lighting that, outdoor lighting, bathroom sink lighting, stuff like that. So So this is my friend Kelly from also from the Marfa trip. So wanted to do another full body one just to try to figure out how to work with such small shapes. And so this one simplified really nicely because there's a pretty hard shadow. So the sun's setting, so we've got a hard shadow over here. And it kind of simplified that face really nicely. And then sunglasses really help too when you're working that small. So I quite like this one. I'm not sure about this, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not unsure. It's just kind of like, I don't know if I would do that the same way again, but oh well. I guess I was still thinking on pattern because I chose this pattern blanket one over here, and I really wanted, the reason why I chose this photo was to work with this pattern. And I also like this photo. My husband just, he's a cozy boy. He likes blankets, and we are out, I think, camping, and yeah, he's all wrapped up. I don't know. I think it's just kind of fun. I think it kind of shows, I guess, his character, I guess. So these are my parents. So this is my mom. This picture I took at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. And again, talk about some different lighting, museum indoor lighting. And I really like this picture of my mom a lot. She was asking, like the whole time we were at the museum, she was asking me about like, why is this an art piece? Why is this here? You know, that kind of, you know, when people are talking about conceptual art, that's always the question. And I just love the expression on her face is like the exact same way I feel when I look at a white canvas in some, you know, respected art establishment. I think it perfectly sums it up because it's like, you know what, I don't know why it's here, Mom. Like, I don't get it either. So I find this one really relatable. This one is my dad. This picture, he's actually, it's cropped out, but he's holding a sourdough from the sourdough starter we got him for Father's Day. But the lighting on his face was just really nice coming in from that one direction. And I wanted to do another black and white one, so I wouldn't just have one black and white image for the whole project. And I thought that the yellow kind of paired nice with the black and white. So this is of me. So this is another weird lighting selfie. One of the places I teach at, there's a lot of blue toned light that comes in from the front. There's like some windows in front, but then there are some yellow lights that shine down, kind of, you can see that in the hair a little bit. And so like certain parts of the face are lit really cool and certain parts of the face are lit really warm, and there's just a bunch of weird colors in this. And so I tried to capture that. There really should be a bit more shadow underneath the eyes because it has where the brow is casting a shadow on like the eye socket. But I still think it's an interesting image, and I like the expression. I think it's an interesting self-portrait. I don't know. I guess it resonates with me. I guess it's my own face, so of course it does. But yeah, I don't know. I like this one. This one right here is from a trip to New Mexico, and we're just out in the mountains. This one probably has the most background, so kind of gives it a nice variety. I don't know, I feel neutral. I feel neither like here nor there about how much background is in this one compared to all the other pictures. But this one, again, trying to figure out that kind of full body simplification, you know, simplifying the fingers, you know, since it's so small. And then the face, the sunglasses, and then the facial hair ends up being a really nice moment to simplify that entire face. So I think that one works for that reason. There's a lot of thought that goes into making something that is this small. It's just every little tiny, you know, area of color really makes a difference. So this is probably what happened a few drinks before the "Hey Jenny, take a thought pic of me." So yeah, this is from that same pool day, and Yeah, this one, I don't know. I just thought it was fun. I like the kind of color of her top. I really, really wish though that there was some more darker colors in her shirt. There's just not quite enough contrast down here in this particular image. And that makes it, I mean, that's like kind of why colored pencil in this style where everything is like a chunk of color, it's a little bit unforgiving. Once you put down an area of color, like that's kind of it. The face, I kind of struggled a little bit in here and had to kind of go over top of things, and it's not quite as fresh as, you know, when things are just have one kind of go at it. And so, yeah, drawing in this or illustrating in this method is, it's pretty unforgiving. You have to really kind of think everything through. So this is a favorite of the batch. There's like 3 favorites I have. So this is favorite number 2. And it's weird because I wasn't originally going to use this image in this project because it's actually a full body picture. And then I was like, you know what, that face looks pretty nice and the colors are nice. You know, she was wearing this red top and then she was actually in front of a red background. And the face actually turned out really nice. You know, there wasn't any major shadows on it, which is something I'd been looking for in all the other pieces. But it still has just a good expression on it. The kind of face is turned in a nice way. And then just going with the this right here where there's kind of black in the image, going really dark purple, kind of, I think, makes the piece seem a little like lighter. It feels a lot more summerier, I guess. And then having this necklace she has with these big like beads on it, it's kind of fun too. And the pattern here. I don't know, the vibe of this is really nice. Yeah, it's just weird. The pieces throughout here that I think are gonna turn out really awesome and the ones that kind of do and don't, it's not ever what I expect. So I love these two together. This was not planned this way, it just kind of turned out that way. I think at a certain point I was like, I'm gonna ask my family if they have any good pictures for me to work from. And I think my mom sent me this as a joke, just my brother looking like an absolute turd. And I thought it was funny. There's, you know, some nice kind of natural lighting. I guess, well, no, there's all sorts of different lighting. I keep like wanting to pull some sort of like take home lesson from this, like use this kind of lighting, but I've had good and bad results from all different kinds of images, so I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, I just liked the expression on this. I think it captures a look that I've seen a bunch of times. This is a portrait of myself, and coincidentally, I picked out all of the portraits, or a lot of the portraits ahead of time. Like I'd pick out like 4 or 5 of them at once, and then kind of do those, and then pick out some new ones. So I had this picked out ahead of time, but I actually colored this in on a day I really felt like trash. And so, I don't know, it feels appropriate, just this like sad hoodie portrait of myself. And I positioned the head a little lower so it would kind of have a, I don't know, when you position the head lower, there's like a power dynamic that's a little shifted, makes the person smaller in the scene. This is my sister. She apparently donated enough blood to get a jacket over many sessions, not just one session. Yeah, she got this jacket, and I liked this picture because the light on it, you know, there's a nice shadow there, and there was a nice kind of cool, warm kind of moment on it. It actually reminded me of this one. And so I actually planned on illustrating it with the same colors, but then when I sat down, I was like, you know what, I really want to push the purple. And I'm really glad I did. I like that the purple's kind of repeated in a few places. And what I've really enjoyed doing in colored pencil is when all the colors are kind of laid out for you and it's all like pre-mixed colors, right? Because the way that I am illustrating this, there is no mixing of colors. Like the 150 colored pencils I have. Those are my color choices. So you have to sometimes problem solve in kind of different ways. And there's something about like seeing a purple that looks like this just like laid out for you, and I don't know, I just make like weirder choices than maybe I normally would. If I was mixing this, I probably would match the photo a little closer. So I like how it forces me to do things I wouldn't normally do with paint. So I also just liked the clarity of the picture, just the face, like all the features kind of show up really nicely. And I also like, she, I don't think was wearing a lot of makeup, and it just, there's a nice kind of freshness to the face. So this is my third favorite, this picture of my dad. This is one, I think, yeah, okay, so all three of my favorites were ones that I didn't necessarily think were gonna be that great. This one I originally was like, oh, I don't wanna use this one because there's not really any interesting shadows. It's just a very like straightforward portrait. But I was like, well, I want a second one of my dad, and I definitely want it to be in color since the other one was black and white. And so I did this one, and I ended up really, I don't know, just all the different kind of pinks on the face ended up looking really nice. And I hope he doesn't mind including the scar from like a skin cancer-y thing he had, I don't know, like removed from his nose at one point. So I hope, I don't know, that's always like a weird part in portraiture. It's like, I wonder if you saw that and was like, oh, did you have to put the scar on there? But I don't know, it just adds a pop to the image, and it is just part of the character of his face. So I don't know. I don't know, Dad, if you're watching, I guess I'm sorry. But I also like how I did the beard. I was really unsure of how to handle the facial hair like this, but I like that, how I did it almost like a pattern that would be like a shirt or something, because it is very vertical, and there's a lot of kind of gray and with the brown, and you know how facial hair is, sometimes you can like see the skin kind of under it as well. So I don't know, this one just really worked for me. And I think that just the chunks in here look really, I guess, kind of natural. And I like, there's this like steely blue in the eyes and in the hair, beard, and shirt. So it all kind of like goes together. So I like this one a lot. And then last, bringing us home, is a selfie that my mom sent when I asked for pictures. And I like this because it's like the last one, and it's like when you're leaving and your mom gives you a kiss or something. So I really like that kind of way to sum up this project. Maybe I'll write something on this blank side. I'm not really sure. I'm just now, as I'm filming this, I'm like, oh, I could like draw something on there. Although there's a little bit of the colored pencil, there's this, see this like moment right here where this thing goes through. So, Okay, anyways, that's totally off topic. So on this one, I went a lot kind of chunkier with the areas of color. And I like how that looks. There's kind of this weird kind of color in here, picking up on some odd like tones in the skin and trying to kind of push that so, you know, every portrait isn't the same like shades of pink. I also loved this image because of the color of the glasses. It just is a nice pop of color. It's a really fun color that she would definitely pick out. And yeah, I also like this because, I don't know, I guess like, you know, it's like when you're a kid, you think of your parents as like these like people who are like not really people, and then you like get older and then you're like, oh, my parents are human beings, and something about a selfie that my mom took, and it's like, oh, I do that too. Everyone does that. Like, oh, my parents are people, which is not something that at 33 I'm just now discovering, but sometimes it's like, I would, as a 16-year-old, would have never thought, you know, that my parents are like that. Does that make any sense to y'all? I guess I'm saying that as we get older, we view our parents differently, I guess. But I guess I'm saying that in like not, like in a nice way. Anyways, so yeah, that is this project, and I've had a lot of fun with it.